We have two solid bodies rotating about stationary mutually perpendicular intersecting axis. So let's say body 1 and 2 that are rotating along z-axis and x-axis. Their angular velocities are constant, omega 1 and omega 2. We need to find the angular velocity and angular acceleration of one body relative to the other. So these two are intersecting axis. Let's say omega 2 is towards x and omega 1 is towards minus z. Now this picture we can observe from the top view. So from the z-axis. So if you are seeing from the top, it will look like this. So omega 2 is still along x-axis. So this is our y-axis now, and z-axis is outside the plane. So this disk will appear to be rotating clockwise. So omega 1 is going to be inside the plane. So you can see that z and omega here are opposite in direction, just like here. So these two are similar. Now let's observe the motion with respect to 1. So we are going to fix plate number 1. So our observer is sitting on plate number 1, that means plate number 1 is fixed. So if plate initially was rotating in clockwise manner, and if you observe the motion from plate, then everything else will appear to rotate in counterclockwise manner. So this wheel will start to appear to rotate in counterclockwise fashion. So let's call that motion as orbiting, and the wheel is also spinning on its own axis, so let's call that as spinning. So we have two rotatory motions now. One is about this axis, about the z-axis, and that the wheel is rotating like this, is orbiting, and another is along this axis which is spinning, right? So let's call that omega s and omega o for orbiting and spinning. And let's say after some time it's turned by an angle theta with respect to the observer. So this omega s also will make an angle theta with the horizontal. So before we get into the calculation part, make sure you understand what's happening in these three figures. So how we have drawn each of them. Also the direction of omega o. So that is opposite to that of omega 1. And also it's going to be same in magnitude, right? Because if you are stopping this, it's going to rotate in the same angular, with the same angular velocity. So omega 1 in magnitude is same as omega o. But I'm not writing omega 1 here because in vector form they are different. So here omega 1 is inside the plane. Here omega o is outside the plane. But magnitude is same as omega 1. For omega s also, the magnitude is same as omega 2. But omega 2 is a constant along x-axis. But here as it's spinning, omega s is continuously changing its direction, right? Now let's move to the calculation part. So with respect to 1, it observes that second body is going through two motions. One is orbiting, one is spinning. So let's write individual angular velocities for each of these motions. So for omega s, so omega s will be omega s cos theta I cap plus omega s sin theta j cap, and omega s is in magnitude is same as omega 2. So we can write omega s vector as omega 2 cos theta I cap plus omega 2 sin theta j cap. Theta, the angle turned by the wheel, is same as omega 1 t. So initially at t is equal to 0, the wheel was here. So when we started observing, the wheel started turning, which means this theta angle is equal to omega 1 into t, because it's rotating with the same angular velocity as omega 1 in magnitude. So theta is omega 1 t, and due to orbiting, omega o is omega 1 k cap. So what is omega o? That is negative of this, and omega 1 is inside the plane. So omega o is going to be outside the plane, but same in magnitude, which will be omega 1 k cap, right? So now 1 is observing these two rotatory motions by the body. So total rotation with respect to 1 is going to be vector sum of both of them. So omega of 2 with respect to 1 is omega s plus omega o, because both of them individually are also with respect to 1. So omega s will just put these values here, and this is in vector form omega 2 with respect to 1. So you can see it is in all three I, j and k directions. In k direction it is constant, which is obvious because it's orbiting with the same angular velocity. But in x and y direction it's varying because omega s is changing direction with time. But if you take the magnitude of omega 2 with respect to 1, that comes to be constant. So you can see cos square plus sin square will become 1. It will be omega 2 square plus omega 1 square. Otherwise also you can see omega O is outside the plane and omega S is in xy plane. So vector sum of omega O and omega S is simply root of omega O square plus omega S square. And omega O in magnitude is omega 1 and omega S in magnitude is omega 2. So omega 2 with respect to 1 is simply omega O square plus omega S square, which is omega 1 square plus omega 2 square root of that. So we could have directly written this also, but we must know how to get this omega 2 with respect to 1 in vector form also. Because when we are going to calculate alpha, we will need this expression. So let's jump to it. Alpha of 2 with respect to 1. So that will be simply d by dt of omega 2 with respect to 1. So we'll put our omega 2 with respect to 1 here. And when we differentiate, this will be, so I have skipped a differentiating step here because I was lacking space, but you can imagine if you do this, differentiate this expression with respect to time, it will be omega 2 omega 1 into minus sine omega 1 t I cap plus omega 2 omega 1 cos of omega 1 t j cap. Omega 1 k cap is constant, so that's differentiation will be 0. So again, this is the vector form of omega 2 with respect to 1. If you need to know the magnitude, just root of this square plus this square, and again sine square plus cos square will be 1, and our answer will be root of omega 2 omega 1. So I have taken a lot of time explaining this, but once you understand how we are doing it, you can see there are not much calculations here, but you need to understand how we have done this problem. For example, we have not written here as omega 2, even though the magnitude is same. Because the direction is changing, we have written it as omega s. And omega O also, we have not written it as omega 1 because direction of omega O is opposite to that of omega 1. And now you can imagine why I took omega 1 in the negative z direction, because we are more comfortable by doing the calculations in counterclockwise fashion if theta is in counterclockwise fashion. If I have taken omega 1 in upwards, then the wheel will be rotating in opposite directions. So small things, good problem, a lot of things to learn.